Hello, this is Victor and I'm here with a new codex review. This weekend, Games Workshop have launched the Skitarii codex. There is the one on Adeptus Mechanicum, and here I want to share with you what you can find in this codex, especially in terms of units and rules that we are going to face now on the battlefield. As usual, this codex have a very extended part on fluff. Then we have a very nice painting guide, and they're showing different color schemes that part different than the classical red ones. There are some with more white, and there is even some that are using oranges instead of reds. So it's quite interesting always to make a look and to have ideas for different color schemes. And then let's go to the rules. That is what I want to focus. I have the digital version, sorry that I cannot share with you. And yeah, I will talk a little bit what we can find in this codex and how I think it's just a first look, very fast look at I did during this afternoon, and now I want to share what I get from this codex and what we can expect from here. So first of all, say that this is a codex very similar to it reminded me a lot the Harlequin codex. First, because there is not HQ choices. So we have troops, elites, fast attacks and heavy support. And then the formation, the basic detachment, or the detachment for the mechanicals is 2 troops. This is the mandatory. So 2 troops is making your detachment. So you can put this detachment of 2 troops and that's all. The rule that they have, if you take their detachment, is that if it's the main, if your warlord from this detachment, you can reroll the warlord traits, and they have the Turles advance. All models from this detachment have Crusader and Scout, so they want to improve the movement of these units. You will see that if you add Crusader on top of some of the movements, these units are going to be very fast. So yeah, I will explain this one, but Crusader is adding extra movement, if extra dice when rolling for run, plus 3 inches when you eliminate one unit in close combat. So it's quite interesting. And the scout, what is important is the scout cannot be used for outflanking, only can be used to scout at the beginning of the battle. So, and I think it's going to be neat, because you don't have transport in this army. So what we have, apart of the 2 mandatory troops, you have then optional 6 additional troops, 4 elites, 2 fast attacks, 4 heavy supports, and 1 fortification. So it's good to see that they also can use fortifications. So, and then yeah, we can go to the units. They have a list. As usual, they have the war gear list at the beginning, and almost all the weapons are new and have different rules. So I will try to cover this at the same time I'm talking about the units. And let's start with the units. So the first unit we have are the Skitarii Vanguard. It's costing 55 points for 5 guys, where we have 4 Skitarii Vanguard and 1 Alpha. The Alpha, the profile of these guys is very similar to so it's 3, 4, 3, 3, so they are humans with a better ballistic skill. 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack, leadership 8 and 4 plus armor. And then the Alpha have 1 additional wound and 1 additional attack and 1 additional in leadership. So and then you can add 5 more to make a unit of 10, paying 9 more for models. So the full unit of 10 will cost you 100 points, without any equipment. So the Skitarii Vanguard is equipped with the Skitarii warplate, that is armor 4+. They have a radium carbine, and here we have all the different new weapons from the Mechanicus. We have the radium weapons, where we have the radium pistol, the radium carbine, and the radium Jezzail. All these, the pistol and the carbine are the same but different range. So at strength 3, AP 5, and they have the rat poisoning. And the rat poisoning, what it does is that if you throw a 6 when wounding, you cause 2 wounds instead of 1, regardless of the toughness. So they are very good shooting at monsters and people with high toughness, because 6s will always wound, and on top of that you do 2 wounds instead of 1. So yeah, they can do quite a good damage. They have the Doctrina Imperatrix. These are the Doctrina Imperative are rules that, special rules from the Adeptus Mechanicum, where you can choose between being offensive or defensive. If you are defensive, you can add +1 to your ballistic skill, you can add +2 to ballistic skill and remove 1 to your weapon skill, and you can add 3 to ballistic skill and reduce 2 to weapon skill. And the offensive or the close combat ones are the opposite. So you add 1 to weapon skill, you add 2 to weapon skill and reduce 1 to ballistic skill, and you add 3 to weapon skill and reduce 2 to your ballistic skill. So yeah, and you can use this Doctrina once per game, so you can repeat the Doctrina. So I guess when you start shooting at the beginning, you try to go to very high ballistic skill to be able to hit very easily to your opponent. So then you can include, as I said, 5 additional by 9 points cost. Sorry, apart of that, they have Feel No Pain on 6+, and they have Relentless special rule. And they also have the rat saturation, so any unit that is in close combat with them have -1 to toughness. So then the alpha can take ranged weapons, melee weapons, special war gear, and relics. In ranged weapons, they have, I think is what you want to go, he will have the phosphor blast pistol, the radium pistol, so you can, I don't think you are going to take the radium pistol, unless you want to go to radium pistol plus a melee weapon, and then you have the arc pistol. We can look again on the weapons to know what is this type of weapons. So on the phosphor weapons, we have the phosphor blast pistol, the phosphor serpentar, and the heavy phosphor. We have a new rule that is called Luminogen. So the phosphor pistol is a 5-4, and the phosphor serpentar is also 5-4. So strength 5, AP4. And they have what is called luminescence, so a unit that suffers 1 or more wound from or a glancing or penetrating hit caused by this weapon, and causes his safe cover being 1 less than the normal. So furthermore, if the units can roll to determine their charge range against the affected unit. So it's like you put a light on this unit and you reduce 1 to the cover save. And as it says, a unit that suffers 1 or more, I understand that additional wounds will not cause additional -1, because it says 1 or more, it's giving a -1. Sorry. And then we have the arc pistol. It's a new type of weapons as well, that are the arc weapons. We have the pistol and the rifle. They have a strength 6, AP5, pistol highwear. So they are the highwear weapons of the Skitarii. So yeah, you can go to reduce cover save on your opponents, or you can focus on having the anti-vehicle. So the anti-vehicle is going to be mainly the highwear, and also they don't have melta, but they have less cannons and other things, and they have the highwear that, from my point of view, is better than melta, especially if you have a highwear that have a strength 6, so you can do a glancing plus a highwear effect that is on top of the damage that you can do. So apart of that, one Skitarii can take the enhanced data share and the omni specs. We can check what this does. This is a special equipment that you can put on your units. So looking now the equipment, the enhanced data tether. Whenever a unit with enhanced data is affected by the Doctrina Imperative, all models in in the unit add +1 to leadership characteristic on their profile until the start of the next turn. So on top of the effect, you also add +1 to the leadership. And the other one is the cover save taken against attacks made by this unit comes at least you apply -1 to the cover of the enemy. So if you combine this with the luminescence, you can subtract 2 to the cover of the enemy. So I think this allowed to include 10 points to reduce when the cover of your enemy is almost allowed to include, especially if you, I think it's almost allowed to include. And then 2 Skitarii can take special weapons, and the special weapons are the R rifles. So you can put 2 R rifles in a unit of 5 plus the R pistol. The range is, if I'm not wrong, of the rifle is 18, but you can have a lot of high-wear power. Yeah, the range is 18. No, 24, sorry, of the R, and it's rapid fire, so they can be quite strong against vehicles. You can also put the Transuranic Arquebus. This is a sniper. I will go because these also are new weapons for me, so I also need to look what they do. So here I have the profile of the Transuranic Arquebus. It's a sniper weapon that is heavy 1 armor vein. So yeah, you can have, I think the best option is the arc weapons with the high wear, and to make a shooting unit that is good anti-vehicles and also good or you keep them good as the anti-infantry. I'm not a big fan of this one. Well, sniper, you can point. You can have 3 sniper rifle, 2 sniper rifles on a unit of 5, 3 on a unit of 10. Because then if the squad is 10, you can replace, you can put another special weapon. So you can have 2 special weapons on a unit of 5, 3 special weapons on a unit of 10. And the last one is the plasma weapon. The plasma weapon is a heavy 3, assault 3 plasma, 7.2, and is range 18. I think this is also very good if you want to go. I think the 2 options to go is anti-infantry with the plasma caliber, or you go anti-vehicle with the high wear, with the arc weapons that have the high wear special rule. So I see this unit as very good in shooting, especially with the Doctrina Imperatives, where you can improve your ballistic skill by a lot. The next unit that we have are the Skitarii Rangers. And the Skitarii Rangers are costing 65 points per 5. I think, if I'm not wrong, they have exactly the same profile as the previous ones. The difference here is that they have moved through cover, and instead of having the rat, they have the galvanic rifle. So if we look at the galvanic rifle, it's range 30 inches, strength 4, AP 4, rapid fire, and precision shot. So they have a lot of range, and they have the abilities of those Doctrina Imperatives as the previous ones: Feel No Pain 6+, Move Through Cover, and Relentless. They don't have the rat. These are, I think, they are units thought to work at more distance, and they have exactly the same options, and they cost 11 points per each. Again, the Alpha can have any of the special wear gear. They have the same options to take off to reduce the cover and also to increase the leadership. They can replace 2, they can have the same number of special weapons, 2 in a unit of 5, 3 on a unit of 10. So again, here I think the best options as the previous ones, as this weapon is very specialized. I'm not sure if this is better than the previous one. These have more range than the previous ones, but they don't have the rat. On the opposite side, they have the precision shot special rule, so this can be very interesting because each 6 on impacted you can address this to the heavy or to the special weapon. So 2 units of shooting with a very interesting shooting abilities. Then we go to the elites, and in the elites we have 2 units. We have the Skitarii Rust Stalkers. This is a unit that completely specializes in close combat. They cost here it is 160 points for 5, and you have 4 Skitarii and 1 Rustless Princeps. The Princeps, all of them have 2 wounds. They have the same profile, and the difference is that the Princeps have 3 attacks and leadership 9. So you have their specialized in close combat. They have what they are equipped with the Skitarii battle armor. Is a armor that is 4+ with 6+ invulnerable. They have the Transonic Razor. If I look at the melee weapons, the Transonic Razor. So we have a new type of weapon that is called the Transonic weapons, where we have the Transonic Blade, the Rapier, and the Short Claw. They have the new rule that is the Short Claw have what is called molecular dissonance. Molecular dissonance was a model equipped with Short Claw makes in close combat 1 attack with the dissonant attack. Roll separate this attack. A dissonant attack has the Flashbane special rule. These weapons have the strength of the user and have AP 5. And the Transonic rule is when making an attack with a weapon that has this special rule, any 2 wound roll of 6 automatically wound the target regardless of the toughness. To addition, the first round of close combat, any 2 wound of 6 are AP2. During all the subsequent rounds of close combat, all wounds have AP2. So yeah, you can increase to AP2. So they looks quite dangerous with the number attacks because they are not specialists. So they have a Short Claw and the Transonic Razor and the Mind Crumble Grenades. The Mind Crumble Grenades is a new type of grenades that have a strength. They have a strength X, AP4, and they have high wear and neural trauma. And what the neural trauma do is that you wound always on 4+. So you can use this weapon if you launch the grenade. If you use this weapon in close combat, is strength 3, AP4 hardware. So they are also equipped with hardware, so very dangerous against vehicles, and also they can throw the grenade is the only attack the shooting attack they have. But they are also very dangerous in close combat because 6 is a wound regardless of the toughness, and then you go to AP2 if you do this in the first round of combat. They have they are bulky. They have the Doctrine Imperatives as all of them. They have Dune Rider. Dune Rider is adding +3 to the movement, to the run, and to the assault. They have Feel No Pain and Furious Charge. So they are very fast because they move 9. They run D6 +3, and they can assault 2d6 +3. So yeah, and they don't have moves to cover these ones, so they are quite dangerous. So you can include 5 additional more by 30 points per model. They can the special character can have a special war gear or relics from Mars. On the special war gear, you have now how it's called, this is the refraction field, that is 5+ invulnerable saves. Then you have the conversion field, that is 4+ invulnerable save, and then you have digital weapons. The entire squad might replace their transonic razors and the short claws and the mine crumble grenades by 2 transonic blades, and the transonic blades have a strength +1, and so you can add +1 to the strength. Take into account they have a strength 4 basic, so if you go for the transonic blades, you will have, and you have 2, so each of these guys will have 3 attacks, a strength 5, 4 attacks when assaulting. So they are started looking quite dangerous in close combat, but anyway they are quite expensive as well, because 5 of them will cost 160 points. They are quite vulnerable because they have toughness 3 and 2 wounds, so you have to choose very well how you assault, and you have to avoid saturating fire, because saturating fire will cause some wounds, although they are quite resilient with armor 4 and feel no pain. So it's not a bad unit, but it's quite expensive. Very dedicated to the close combat. The princess also can have the 2 transonic blades, and the princess also may take what is called the Brestine, that is spike. So this is, I guess, something to boost. Let me check here if we find this thing. So the princeps paying 10 points per princeps. You're gonna keep him with the prehensile. That spike, as the strength of the user is melee. That spike, high wear, and a specialist weapon. When a model equipped with this weapon that has this special rule makes a melee attacks, it makes additional attack with this weapon at initiative step 10. This then grant the model an additional piling movement. So you do one additional attack that is haywire. So this is mainly if you if you do want to go against vehicles. So a close combat unit that is not bad. It's not super good, but it's not bad, and can be dangerous if it's well used. And I think, and they are quite fast. And then we have the next unit that is called the Skitarii Infiltrators. They cost 185 points. They are equipped, they are equipped with the Skitarii battle armor, so 4+6+. They have the stab carbine, and they have a power sword. So the stab carbine, it's a shooting weapon. For this weapon, just give me a minute. Here it is. The stab carbine is 18 inches, a strength 4, assault 3, and they have no AP. So it's quite, they have a good combination of a good shooting plus a good close combat, because they are equipped with the power sword. We have to say that they are quite expensive. 5 of these guys cost 185 points. As the previous, they have exactly the same profile as the previous Skitarii, with 2 wounds each. They have bulky, doctrine imperative, Dune Strider, so they are fast moving. They have feel no pain, infiltrate, and stealth. And what is interesting here is that you can get use of the outflanking, because they have a good shooting. You may include 5 additional more of them by 35 points per unit, and they also have what is the neurostatic aura. So what it causes is that all enemy models at 6 inches of 1 or more models with this special rules subtract 1 to their weapon skill, to the ballistic skill, to the initiative, and to the leadership. So they penalize a lot the enemy units, reducing weapon skill, ballistic skill, initiative, and leadership by 1. The princeps can have a special war gear and Relics of Mars. We're going to do a look on Relics of Mars later on. The entire squad might replace the stab carbines and the power sword by the flechette and the taser gods. The flechette is a quite strong weapon. There is very short range, but if you combine this with infiltrator or the outflanking, it can be quite dangerous. So the flechette is a ranged weapon that is 12 inches, is strength 2, and have burst pistol and is red. And a weapon with this special rule fires fires 5 shots when fired, but is otherwise treated as a normal pistol. So you have 5 shots of pistol. So it's a pistol that have 5 shots. It's a strength only. The point is only strength 2. Although it is red, it's mainly specialized to shoot to miniatures with very low toughness. And then it has the taser gods. Is another type of weapon as well. The taser weapons, we have the taser god is adding +2 to strength, is melee and taser. And the taser, what it's doing is, when making attacks with this weapon that hits on 6, you cause 2 additional. So it's like Tesla, but in close combat. So it's 6. It's causing 2. If you do that, is to go to close combat. You have the pistol to do some shooting, but the shooting, although you will do 5 shots, is not going to be that powerful, even with this red. So most likely you will need against Marine 6s, against Imperial 5, repeating, because the red is not going to. I think I will use the basic equipment, that is the power sword plus the Sharvine. But you can do this change and it's for free, and the infiltrator, and you also can have the info slave skull that is here. Info slave skull. Give me a second. They can have the info slave skull is a model equipped with an info slave skull, adds 1 to its leadership and gains acquit senses, a special rule. So yeah, if you are thinking in outflanking, maybe it's interesting to have to be able to repeat. So this is more, I think, a short range shooting plus close combat. It has the 2 functionalities and is specialized against infantry. If you want a good close combat, you go for the previous unit, thinking that you don't have a delivery vehicle, so you have to move these guys close the terrain. These are the 2 elites, and then we go to the fast attack. In fast attack we have the Sidonian Dragons. This is a walker. It's costing 45 points and is a close combat walker. It have weapon and ballistic skill 4, strength 3, and then have strength 5, and then have armor 11 all around, initiative 3, I think it's 5 attacks, and HP 2, so 2 hull points. For 45 points is mainly a close combat walker that have the Doctrina, the Doctrina Imperialis, Dunstrider and Crusader. It has a Taser Lance that have the Taser rule that I explained before. For each impacted on 6s, you create 2 additional impacted. And on top of that, you have the used special rule. So this weapon have +3 when charging, +2 in subsequent close combats. And a model attacking with a weapon with this special rule doubles his initiative characteristic on the turn in which it makes a solo charge. So it's going to be pretty fast when charging. It's a vehicle, and then have the Crusader also rule and the Endurance Strider. So, and on top a model with this special, they have the Incense Cloth. So model with this special rule comes out obscured, giving 5+ cover. So yeah, have the Searchlight in case you want to use it, and have the broad spectrum that this thing what is giving. Here, sorry if I have to go back and forth because I'm also learning how this works. So the broad spectrum data tether, all friendly models with the Skitarii faction that are 6 inches or less of model with the broad spectrum data tether and are affected by the Doctrina Imperative, so means all minters in that codex. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic on their profile, so you add +1 to the units that are next to them. So it's a leadership booster. So yeah, a close combat, very cheap. And then if you want, you can use the J-Sail. You can put the Phosphor Serpenta. You can put the J-Sail for free on him. The J-Sail, it's a ranged weapon, so you can substitute. Sorry, I'm looking for the J-Sail. Here it is. So you can substitute the lance by a J-Sail, and the J-Sail is a sniper weapon that has, well, it's a sniper, so have no strength, have range 30, it's AP5, it's heavy 2, and have the right positioning, and it's a sniper. And the right positioning, remember, with the 6 you always do a wound. So you can have a sniper. I think it's better, I don't know. We need to talk. Or you can get the Phosphor Serpenta. And the Phosphor Serpenta, it's the one that you use. It's strength 5, AP4, assault 1, and it's range 18, and have the illumination. So depends on what you do. I will say, and this is the squad. You can make a squad of 3 of these guys. So you can have a sniper. They don't have a very powerful, it's quite a light weapon and light armor, so it's more a scouting vehicle. And I think if you combine this with the Skitarian, it's a boost for close combat where you can maximize the damage they can do. Although it's a walker, and vehicles in close combat with armor 11 can be quite vulnerable. The other option is to use them as a snipers with the J-Sail. And then we have the next vehicle that we have is another walker. So all the vehicles here are walkers. We have the Iron Strident Ballister. It's based on the same chassis as the previous one, but this is the shooting, and the shooting one, it's more expensive. It's costing 55 points, and have the equipment. It has exactly the same rules: Crusader, Doctrine Imperatives, Dune Strider, and these have precision shots. We have a lot of precision shots rule on the Mechanicum, so I guess they will be good eliminating special weapons and heavy weapons from the enemy units. This one have the twin ring Cognis autocannon, and then also have the broad spectrum data sheet, this is the one that, and the Searchlight. So the Cognis rule, what it's doing is that when you do snapshots, instead of having a weapon skill, ballistic skill 1, you have ballistic skill 5. So this means that shooting, I think the best option is shooting flyers. These guys can shoot flyers at 2+, on 5s instead of 6s. making them more flexible than having a Skyfire, that then you lose your ability to shoot to the ground units. You can substitute the Cognis Twin Link autocannon by a Cognis Twin Link last cannon, but then you pay 20 points per meter when you substitute that. So you can have a combination, of course. You can have up to 3, and so the first one is 55, and then you can add up to 5 additional, paying 55 points per each. And I think the previous one is also up to 5. Yeah, up to 5 additional, so you can make squads of 6 of these walkers. So you can have 6. Well, I think 6 is too much. I see more units of 3, with 6. Yeah, but yeah, and like walkers with very good shooting, and these ones can be very flexible because you can shoot if you want with the Twin Link and the Cognis. It's also quite dangerous against flyers because you shoot on 5 rerollable, so not bad option. And you are quite good, have quite good defense if you are assault, because you will have also snap shootings on 5s and Twin Links, so you will repeat. And the last option we have in the codex is the Onager Doom Crawlers. 90 points for a walker that have armor 12, 12 and 11 at the back. They have weapon skill 3 and ballistic skill 4, and it has initiative 2 and 1 attack, but it is a walker that is mainly thought for shooting support. It has the Eradication Beamer, it has the Broad Spectrum Data Ether that I explained before, and they have the Emanantus Force Field and the Surge. The Emanantus Force Field is giving an invulnerable save of 6+, and then I will go to the weapons later on. Have the Doctrina Imperialis, the Crawler rule, so a model with this special rule is never slowed by difficult terrain and automatic passes and dangerous terrain, but cannot run. Doesn't matter, I don't think you want to run, you want to shoot with this guy. And then they have the Field Harmonics, a model with this special rule, add 1 to any invulnerable saving throws it's making for its Emanatus Force Field for each other model from the same squadron within 4 inches. So if you make a tight squadrons of them, and I think the maximum you can do is squadrons of 3, so they can have, if you have all the 3 alive, you will have 4+ invulnerable save, because you have the 6+ basic, and then if you are quite close you will have 4+ invulnerable save. So I think they are thought to go in the squadrons. They cost 90 points, so squadron of 3 is 270 points, but they're going to be quite strong. 3 hull points of armor 12 with 4+ invulnerable save. Then the Eradication Beamer is quite a curious weapon that has the strength, and the effect is depending on the distance. So from 0 to 12, so from 0 to 9, sorry, it's a strength 10, AP 1, heavy 1. 9 to 18 is a strength 8, AP 3, heavy 1 blast. And from 18 to 36 is a strength 6, AP 5, heavy 1, large blast. So it will be anti-vehicle or anti-infantry, depending on the distance. This is quite curious from my point of view. Of course, you have other options. You can replace the Eradication Beamer by a Twin Wing Heavy Phosphor Blaster. These are again the weapons that give the luminescence, the one that reduce the cover save if you make wound. And the one that they can have, the Heavy Phosphor Blaster, is a Strength 3, AP 3, Heavy 3, and the Luminogen. So this can be quite interesting and to reduce the cover. But again, if will not work if they have cover 2 plus something like that, because if you don't make the wound, you don't give this special rule. You only give this rule, this -1 to cover if you manage to make a wound. Can also have the neutron laser. Neutron laser is by 25 points, so this is making your going to 115 points per walker, and it's a weapon that is range 48, strength 10, AP 1, heavy 1 blast, and concussive. So it's a weapon to go against. Concussive is good if you go against monstrous creatures. It's not is a weapon to go against vehicles. For the same cost, and also have this and the heavy and the Cognis heavy stabber. So, and then you can have the Icarius array. This is a special weapon that you have only in this walker. The Icarius array is a weapon that you can choose between 3 different shooting modes. Let's give me a minute. And these 3 shooting modes are the Death Claw missile launcher, all are 14 inches. It's 7, strength 7, AP 2, heavy 1, escape fire. So if you want to go against flyers with quite heavy armor, this is a shot of 7, force 7, AP, strength 7, AP 2. You can have the Gatling rocket launcher. Is a strength 6, AP 4, heavy 5, ignores cover, escape fire. For light, this will disseminate any light vehicle. 5 shots that ignores cover, you cannot do evasion or jink, and is escape fire, they can eliminate if you them from the sky. And the last one is the twin link Icarius autocannon. That is 7. It's a strength 7, AP 4, heavy 2, interceptor, escape fire, and twin link. And this weapon is costing 35 points, so now it's 125 points for the walker. This walker is not bad, but I think it's not good. I think all these units here are what we see in the 10 and in all the new codexes. So they are quite balanced set. They are not super good and they are not bad at all. So these are the 5 units, sorry, the 7 units we have in the codex. We have 2 units of Skitarii, 2 units of Sicarius, 2 units of the walkers, and then we have this crawler with 4 different weapon options. And then we go to the formations. The first formation we find is the battle maniple. So the battle, just give me a minute, I lost the page. The battle maniple is asking you to take 1 unit of each. If you take 1 unit of each, then you have in this formation is your primary detachment. You can roll the result when rolling on the warlord traits, and furthermore your warlord have preferred enemy special rule. Then models from this formation that are within 12 inch of an onager Dunkwowler have leadership 10, but this is not that much because you have 9 as basic, so it's not. And on top, our models from this formation have Crusader and Scope the special rule, and you cannot outflank with this code. And remember that most of your workers have Crusader, so this is mainly. So this will make the Skitarii very fast. And then we have a super big formation. This is called the war cohort. And a war cohort is made of 3 battle maniples. So you have 3 units of each, and this is a lot. I didn't count how many points. And the special rule is that you take the advantages of the previous formations plus these 2 extra advantages. One is that it's the same as before, that you can roll on the warlord trait, but then you have the enhanced imperative resolution. If your army includes 1 or more detachment or formation with this special rule, you can once per game choose to reuse the doctrine imperative that your army has already used earlier in the game. So you can repeat your doctrina imperatives. Remember that when you take the doctrina imperative, all the army have to take. So if you add +1 to the ballistic skill, your close combat units will lose. You can lose ability in close combat and the other way around. So normally you will focus on shooting at the beginning of the battle, and you try to focus on close combat more at the middle of the battle once your units on close combat are there, if you want to go close combat, unless you want to focus in one of the concepts. The next unit is the Skitarian Killclate, and is composed of 3 units of Skitarian Rust Talkers and 1 unit of Skitarian Infiltrators. So you have 3 units of Skitarian close combat plus 1 unit of the Skitarian that have shooting abilities. And the rule that they have is the malignant susurrations. All enemy models at 12 inches of the unit Skitarian Infiltrators from this formation are affected by the neurostatic aura special rule, so you increase the range from 6 to 12 inches. And once per game, on any game turn, after the defeat, the Skitarian Rust Stalkers from this formation can charge in the assault phase even if they made a run. So you can run an assault in the same turn once per battle. Then we have the Iron Strider Cavaliers. This formation is composed by 2 Sidonian dragons plus 2 Iron Strider Ballistiri. The dragons are the ones that are in close combat, and the Skitarii are the ones that have the shooting abilities. You give Acute Saints outflanking, Indian Confirm at the start of the first game turn. Nominate one character in the enemy army model from this formation. Reroll failed to wound rolls against the nominated character and its unit. So we have the Mind-Linked Hunters. So models from this formation can always trace line of sight and shoot through other models in this formation. So the units on this formation don't give cover to the enemy, and if you are from the same formation, of course. And the Noose Tightness. All units in this formation must be placed in reserve. When making reserve roll, make a single roll for the entire formation. In addition, start making reserve rolls for this formation from the first turn. So very interesting, because they can appear on turn 1 and they have the outflanking. So it's a very interesting formation, because these vehicles are quite light, so if you can outflank them and start making damage from the flanks of the enemy, can be quite dangerous. And here we finish the formations. Then we go to the special rules. As I say, I think I explained them all. The Doctrina Imperative is the one that you can use to boost the shooting or the close combat, but then if you boost the shooting a lot, you start losing on close combat and the other way around. Then we have the Warlord traits, and then we have the other ability, the Non-Strider, that you add 3 inches to the maximum movement when it moves in the movement phase, when it runs, and when it makes the charge. They are part of the Empire, so they are allied with the Empire armies. Okay, and then we have the Warlord traits table, The number 1 is give Eternal Warrior to your Warlord. The second one, remember that you don't have you don't have HQs, so your Warlord should be one of the alphas in your units, and more likely you will, I guess, you will use a Skitarii that is going to be safer than the Princeps. You can also use this Princess from the Skitarii. You can have the second is nominate one weapon carried by your Warlord. The weapon have mastercrafted special rule. Note, however, that this cannot be applied to relics of Mars. The first one is good, the second one is not very good, and the first one, to be fair, with 2 wounds is not extremely good. The third is your Warlord can reroll feel no pain rolls. It's not bad, it's not good. And the next is giving the rolled special rule to your Warlord. This can be quite good if you put this on a shooting unit. The Warlord and all the friendly units with the Skitarii faction 12 inches reroll failing morale checks, winning and fear attack. So this is also quite good because this one is not situational. The two first one, these two are, so the one that gives rolled and the one that give their rolls are not for the leadership are not situational, are quite useful. And the last one is when your Warlord and his unit fire Overwatch, the ballistic skill is counted as being 4 instead of 1. This is not affected by bonuses or penalties from the Doctrina Imperatives, the special rule. So this is also quite interesting one, and I see that from these doctrines you want to use one Skitarii Alpha from a shooting unit to be your Warlord. We have what I explained before, and then we have the weapons. I explained most of the weapons during my review of the units. I will not go again through them. And we go to the relics. Relics of Mars, I don't give the points, I will just go to them. So we have one that is the bearer, the Arcan's Divinator. If the bearer of the Arcan's Divinator or any model in the bearer's unit identifies a mysterious objective, so you can reroll. We have the Omniscient Mask. The bearer of the Omniscient Mask has 0 special rule. This can be interesting if you put this. This is mainly for close combat units. The Pater Radium. If the bearer of the Pater Radium is locked in combat with one or more enemy units at the end of the initiative step 1, each of these enemy units must take a toughness test, and the toughness value of the majority of the unit, or the highest in case it's tie. If the test is failed, the units this is very strong. The unit takes d6 wounds allocated and randomly with no armor save. This is quite a powerful one, especially to put to a Princeps in one of your close combat units. We have the Phase Taser. So this is a teaser weapon that have interdimensional electrocution. Any model that suffers one or more unsaved wounds from a weapon that has this special rule must immediately pass an initiative test or be removed from play as a casualty. So here you don't have, you are not saved by Eternal Warrior because you remove the unit. You don't instant kill, you remove from game. So quite interesting is a strength +2 also to add to one of your close combat units. Then we have a shooting weapon, but it's bench 6 and is a strength, I think it's 5. AP2 is a pistol that have the Luminigen and the Phosphex, and is poisoned 3+. So it doesn't matter, it's you always wound on 3+. That has the Phosphex. When fighting this weapon that has a special rule, a successful to hit roll scores 3 hits, so you do 3 hits instead of 1. Very interesting and quite a strong one. I think this combined very well if you put this on a princeps that goes in one of the units have the shooting plus close combat options. And the last one is the School of Elder Nicola. Once per game, the bearer of the School of Elder Nicola can unleash its power instead of fighting weapon. To do so, roll a number of d6 to the current turn number. The total roll is the range of the attack. To do so, roll a d6 equal to the a number of d6 equal to the current turn. So you are in turn 4, you roll 4d6, and this is the range of the weapon. All enemy vehicles with this range suffer a strength 1 AP slash hit with the high wear special rule. So this is a way to do damage all the vehicles around. Not bad, but I would like to know what are the cost of all these things. So to make this make sense, because if all this depends on how expensive they are. So the Arcan's Debilitator is 5 points. This is nothing and can be done. The Battle Radium, that is the one that causes wounds, 20 points, is not cheap. The Phosphenic, that is the pistol, is costing 25 points. And it's restricted. Yeah, replace the ranged weapon. Might not be taken by the Runestalker Princeps, so only by the shooting Princeps can be taken over by the Skitarii. The School of the Elder Nicola costing 25 points. I think it's too expensive for a weapon that maybe is doing nothing if the enemy have no vehicles. And to have a good range you have to wait to turn 4 or 5. At this point you should kill most of the enemy vehicles. So I think the most interesting are the close combat ones. And this is just the end. We have also the missions, but I want to go to the missions. They have also the 6 Maelstrom missions, and they have the special missions for the 1 to 6. So this is all. I think it's quite interesting codex, and have a good combination between shooting and close combat. If you want to focus them on shooting, they will combine very well with armies from the Imperium that have close compatibility. And I think they will combine also very well with all of the Imperium armies. I imagine them combining pretty well with the the Astra Militarum, even with the Space Marines. I think they give a little bit of variation can give a big variation to your army. With all the high wear can be very dangerous against vehicles. Sorry, but they also they are going to be a pain for monstrous creatures as well. And yeah, because they also use wound on 60s, so they have a lot of weapons to deal with monstrous creatures with vehicles and with infantry. So quite a good codex. I would like to see them on battle. I will not invest now because I'm still working on my Harlequin army, but maybe in future I will add a couple of units to combine, because I love the miniatures, and maybe to combine with my Imperial Guard or with my all Guardian armies, Imperium armies. So it's quite good codex. I think it's very interesting, and just let me know what you think. So please leave your comment below. Like if you like it, subscribe if not subscribe it, and if you want to see more. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.